movies, and I was like moving shirts and doing this, and people were coming at the last minute, and I was able to take her to the movies Friday and spend some time with her. And then yesterday I had a really busy day, and I committed myself to be somewhere. But then I had a little break in the day, so I came home and told her, "Come on, let's go do our feet." She's like, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, let's go." So we went to the get our feet done, and sorry, Bella, we didn't tell you, but Bella costs me like $160 every time she goes now. But but I was able to do that, and then we walked around Safeway, and we were like, we're gonna get some snacks, and we ended up eating a little French bread pizza together, and then I went back to pick my stuff up, and I got to talk to Brother Juan. But it was just a busy weekend, but I couldn't wait to be here today because I love being in church, amen. I love not only preaching, but I love just being around other believers, and because iron sharpens iron, amen. I need you guys probably more than you need me, amen. You probably don't realize that, but you encourage me. When I see people walk to the door and they're here, you encourage me to be here, amen. And it's not in vain. The work of the Lord is not in vain. So I thank the Lord for everything that He's doing in this ministry. And I want to welcome everybody back in on Facebook Live. We had got cut off, but we're back in here. And I just thank God for everything that He's doing. And I'm just, this is how I get high. I come up and I share God's love, and I get to share it with people. I was at an event yesterday, and there was a lot of people that I knew, and a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while. And this one kid, he goes, "I'm looking for a cup of coffee." And I go, "Oh, do you want a slushie or nachos?" Because I was helping them out with food. He goes, "I don't have any money." And I said, I go, "Okay." I go, "Well, I'll give you a free one, man. Just whatever you want, just let me know." And he goes, "Well, I just want a cup of coffee." So he walked away, and then I seen him, and I was leaving to go meet Lola, and I walked past him, and the Lord put in my heart to bless him, right? So I reached to my wallet, and I go, "Here, man, you dropped this." And then when I gave it to him, he goes, "I didn't drop this." And I go, "Yeah, you did." I go, "Just take it." And he goes, "Oh, man, thank you." And I walked away, and and it wasn't to puff me up or to do anything like that, but it's just like I had it at the time to bless them, because many times people bless me when I didn't have it, and it was just a good thing. And I don't know if he was hungry. They did have food for sale there, and it was and then the brother goes, "You think we're gonna have enough chicken?" I said, "You know what? I always cater, and I always worry about that, but I'm gonna do what Jesus did. We're gonna pray over this chicken. If He did it with a couple fish and some loaves of bread, you're gonna feed everybody you need to feed." And when I went back to pick up my stuff, they had a whole tray of rice, and they're like, "Hey, you guys still have a tray of rice?" And they're like, "Oh boy!" Like they were worried if they were gonna have enough, but at least they would have rice bowls if they needed them, But anyway, that was an awesome weekend. It's so good. I'm so excited for what God's doing in my family's life and in my kids' life and in all your lives. I keep up with every one of you guys. I see what God's doing. The family trips, the baseball with the kids, the family outings, whether it's holding a cheeseburger and hitting it to your son's cheeseburger, amen. That was a cool picture. That picture made me hungry, though. Where is that place at? Oakland. Man, I got to drive to Oakland and get a hyphy burger, amen. It looked really good. I was like, man, he ain't right putting that out there like that. And made it look so good. But, it's awesome because you guys are my people, amen. And I'm here as your pastor and as your friend to lead you and to guide you and direct you as God leads and guides and directs me. Amen. Like I always say, I'm not better than anybody in this room. I never want to act like I am. And if I ever do make anybody feel a certain type of way, please address me and let me know. Because that's not my intentions. My intentions is to love on you, guide you, and direct you as God directs me. And today, the title of my message is Don't Miss Your Destination. Amen. A lot of times we get caught up in life, and how many people know how to get places for the first time without a GPS, right? Somebody gives you an address, you got to punch in your GPS. Back in the day, we had a thing called MapQuest where you printed out the map. If you left home without the map, you were on a mission to fail, amen? And a lot of times we get in the GPS. How many times people experience the GPS being wrong, amen? The GPS can be wrong, and you're like, I used to drive trucks for a moving company called Wise Choice, amen? But after working for them a while, I realized it wasn't a wise choice, amen? So I worked for this company, and I would deliver freight, and my route was Santa Cruz Mountains, and I would use the GPS. But when you get into those mountains back by Bonnie Dunes and the Rancho Forte Way and Scotts Valley, the GPS, there's no internet. So if your internet gets cut, you're like, whoa, where am I at? And sometimes they'll take you to a road where you think you're here, but it's actually on the other side of the mountain. And then you call the customer and they're like, oh no, did you follow the GPS? Yeah, the GPS is going to take you somewhere wrong. And I'm like, what good is the GPS if it's not taking me, right? And I'm trying to get home, so I'm getting, messed up. My sister's online. She said my dad used to use a map book. Amen. Remember those Thomas guides? Amen. And you map it out, and But anyway, we can get misled, and then we start complaining about it. Or if your wife gives you instructions, how many fellas like, I don't need the instructions. I know where I'm going, right? And then you get in the car, and before you know it, you're already like 3 exits past the exit, but you don't want to admit that you're wrong, so you say you know where you're going, and you kind of divvy around. And my wife always tells me when we go to LA, you know this area is so good. And I always point at the screen. I said, only because of this. I couldn't get around here if I didn't have this. But now I know the area. I'm familiar with it because we go so much. We go like every 6 months to LA, and I can drive. San Jose, I know like the back of my hand. You can give me a street name, and I'll know where it's at, because I grew up in this city. This is my area. I'm familiar with it. Amen. And so we have to understand that the wilderness is real. Amen. And we are on a destination to get to heaven. Amen. How many people want to go to heaven? Amen. Everybody. I believe everybody in this room wants to go to heaven. If you don't want to go to heaven, then we need to talk after service, because we got to get you recalibrated. Amen. Redirected. So the living water is a tough season right now. And that's okay, because God knows the route. Amen. To get to heaven, it can be tough. Yes. It's not easy serving God. It's not easy saying no to drugs. It's not easy saying no to people that want to influence you to do bad. Everybody wants to influence you to do bad, but nobody wants to influence you to do good. Yes. Some people do, but not everybody. And it's easy with the trends. It's easy with the music. Amen. It's easy with all the influences of this world, the pressure of this world. It can get heavy, and we can lose our way. We can lose our motivation to serve God. Because I know when I first came to church and God touched me, I was telling everybody about Jesus, how good God is. But then there comes that time when that cloud just disappears, and it's just you walking this walk, and you're going through the motions. Life shows up, deaths happen, jobs lost, relationship problems, financial problems. Am I talking to somebody this morning? And that joy that we once had is no longer joyful. Doubt sets in. Fear sets in. Anxiety sets in. And we get upset and we get angry and we kind of murmur and we start to complain. Amen? Israel has the children of Israel, the Hebrews, they have left Egypt. Moses already got them across the Red Sea, and now they're on their mission. But now they start to murmur and complain because there's no food. There's no resources for them. And they begin to get upset. And they had a GPS. Amen? Their GPS was led by God with a cloud of fire. Amen? Wherever that fire went, that's where they were to go, and they were to follow that. And see, when we take our eyes off God, we miss that fire. God's always going to be here for us. Yes. Whether we like it or not, He's going to be here for us. My father was a great dad.